That's right. Real Deal Media's New Year's Eve celebration. Jim Fetzer, Dean Ryan, as we say goodbye to 2023. 2024. That's right, tonight we're going to be opening them champagne bottles, cracking skulls, and taking names because we have one thing to achieve, and that is prosperity, enjoyment, freedom, and fighting for that right to party. So get your corkscrews open, put your fishnets to the side, slick that hair back, let it all down, whatever you choose. There's no wrong way, and there's no right way to be you, but to be free, spirited in Howl at the Moon, toasting 2024 as we bear witness to what could be called and described as the best days of our lives are just ahead of us. Get ready. Real Deal Media's New Year's Eve celebration.
Tonight with special guest Ryan. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, everybody. It is good to be here. Happy almost New Year. I am the one, the only Dean Ryan, and we are running behind. Man, it was so much traffic here, so much traffic to get here. I'll tell you, in the tech issues, and just everything is just up for grabs here as we close the 2023 year in Festivus for all the holidays. But it is a just pleasure to be here tonight. We have such a great show. And let me tell you, I have received so many messages from all over the world. We're in different time zones. Are you going to be on here? We want to see this wonderful spectacle here tonight and toast with you, but not just me. No, not just me. That's right. We just received word that the legendary Jim Fetzer is here with us tonight. But I believe, so much tech issues that I'm just, figuring this out now. Sometimes it's got to hammer it in there. See, isn't that better? Isn't that better? Whew! I feel like just a Holy Ghost sometimes. Anyways, joining me as we just do a wonderful New Year's toast, the one, the only Jim Fetzer. Jim.
You are the Toastmaster of the Year, my friend. Congratulations.
It's just so finally good to be here, Jim. I'm just filled with emotions and just teenage angst. I can't even begin to tell you. But Jim, I have to we have to catch up. We haven't talked. I was worried that you went on a big ski trip in Aspen. I had to call the Aspen Coast Guard. We couldn't find you there, but you showed up today. And Jim, you can ask anybody. I felt like Jimmy Stewart at the end of It's a Wonderful Life. Didn't I when you called me finally?
Nice. You were tremendously relieved, Dean, but I was here all along, standing by, ready for the night, looking forward.
I knew it. And I was so worried, and I went for a big run in my suit, as you can see. And, sometimes you just got to exercise But let's get to it. Jim, we have a lot planned here tonight, and I want to catch up with you, but we're going to have some people. We have guests. You're going to be coming in. We're going to be staying with everyone around the world here to ring in the new year for the East Coast of the United States. And Jim, I believe you're on the Central Coast Standard Time.
I'm Central Time, and with a gin and tonic to welcome in the new year, Dean.
See, you're already drinking. I'm not even there yet. So we're going to see Jim ring in the new year like Dick Clark used to do. We're going to have a rockin' New Year's Eve. We have a lot of special guests who are going to be just ringing in with us. We also have some festivities, too. We're going to get to some real deal do's and don'ts for 2024. As you know, Jim, all the new trends are coming out in all the Marie Claire magazines and just all the new styles. So we're going to give people a clear conscience of how to go forward in the new year. But before we go forward, Jim, I have to ask you. People are saying, "How was your Christmas?" and just how cold was it outside?
Well, it was a joyful family Christmas, Dean, and the temperature wasn't too bad. We had a little sprinkling of snow, but nothing too heavy. I think it was around 35 to 40 degrees that day, and lots of fun right here in Wisconsin.
Lots and lots of fun right there in Wisconsin. And, you were very, very excited. And people don't know is Jim was so excited to finally show his family some of his just incredible work, but not from the news world as a crooner. And you showed them the special. Just how did that go? Because I'm dying to know.
Well, the family really enjoyed it. I was tickled when my grandson said that after watching, baby, it's cold outside. He thought he and his girlfriend might do it at the high school Christmas event next year.
Yes, yes, yes. And in fact, I think you should be at that high school event next year. I think that would be something special. But yeah, we had a lot of tremendous praise from all over the world that saw us ring in the new, not just the new year, but Christmas. We had the Cagney story, and it was just a tremendous amount of spirited fun. In fact, here are some of, I think we have a little highlight here. Well, here's Dean Martin, who joined us for that. You'll see. In fact, I'll just show it now. I can't help myself. I'll be home for Christmas if only in my boss around here. Okay. Oh, okay. That was the wrong clip, Jim. I do apologize. That was the wrong clip. I will show you a clip of that. But we do. I have to tell you, Jim. I didn't have a chance to. We have episode 2 of Star Trek. If people don't know, here at Real Deal Media, we're getting into the sci-fi. And Jim, you may remember the old show Star Trek.
Sure, of course. Yeah, good one.
Well. Yes. Well, they initially, Jim has a cousin who kind of looks like him, who's actually doing a kind of different version of it with a smaller budget. We want to show you that just starting right off the bat before we get into the New Year's festivities, because the whole cast gave us a happy New Year's greeting. And Jim, I think you'll be happy to know that Captain Flirt, he's saying howdy. Check this out.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Cap 5959 6464 # 777. Captain Flirt here, into another galaxy, going into 2024 as we glide through the holidays and waltz this New Year's extradition. As we go into a far-off land we are not even sure of. Promises which have been broken, torn to pieces, and weird characters and creatures surrounding us at all odds of the spectrum. We are surviving with the laser beams of the deep state fortitude as they search for any survivors of the human species, as they try to take on me and my colleague Dr. Spa.
Perfectly legal, there's nothing improper about it.
The big bad creature of the planet Kleenex. That's the Cagney, as he tries to gobble up any remaining survivors. We will not stand for it. We've seen weird things in our life, and this journey in these weird pandemic wars. We try to find civilization to then begin plantation, and what I mean is baby boom boom room. Only time will tell. Is that right, Dr. Spa?
And yet the Democrats are in denial. They don't want to believe it.
Beware of all weird specimens as we blast off into this new year predicament with the greatest intentions, without ever faltering. Till next time, this is Captain Flirt wishing you Happy New Year. Just wonderful. You can catch Star Trek new season starting in January. Jim, you must be thrilled for the new season and, well, the premiere season, rather, of Star Trek, aren't you?
Well, you're certainly going where no man has gone before, Dean. I got to hand it to you. You're a pioneer, a trailblazer.
Oh,
Love
oh,
it.
oh, oh, stop it. That's how I feel about Camilla Barker Poles, whatever her name is, that old phrase. But we have a lot of people who are just watching all over the world, Jim. We are broadcasting live now, I should tell you, just all over the place on the most free and fair Facebook. Yes, we want to wish Mark Zuckerberg a wonderful just New Year's. We hope he chokes by the second. We also are on Dean Run TV and formerly known as Twitter and now X, which I'm not keen on that name. You know, we talk about this year things I'm not keen on. That's one of them. Finally, Rumble. Um, but Jim, let's talk now because we did a year in review. I have to ask you some questions. You know, when we look back at 2023, there was didn't it seem kind of a stalemate of a year because we never got a chance to speak about this, and I thought I'd just surprise you here. That's kind of the consensus we got.
Well, it's been a horrific year, Dean. I mean, Ukraine has lost, Russia has won, Hamas has defeated Israel. They're resorting to war crimes. Hezbollah and the Houthis are going to wreak havoc on Israel. It's going down big time, Dean, big time. And frankly, they have sold out their victimhood
Well,
card dating back to
but
World War II. They
but
can no
but when you
longer.
look back, though, Jim, I mean, just that's what we're talking about. It's just like that's one slice of the news pie. Is just because that didn't come till October, but prior to that, it seemed like it was a lot of Twitter. For a moment, it was Hawaii for a little bit. And then, I mean, it feels like we've been talking about the Hunter Biden laptop since I was in high school at this point. you know, there
You got
isn't
it right,
much
Dean.
room. You know what I mean? I mean, if you can think about it, I mean, I've never talked about Elon Musk this much in my entire life. I don't think even he has. And it's just one of those weird years, I must say. But a lot of people have said that the even number of years as we go into 24, it's the best luck of years. What do you think about that, Jim? But what are you most looking forward to in the new year? I should ask.
Well, Dean, politically, I think all these attempts to stop Trump are going to fall apart. It means filed an amicus brief with the Supreme Court over Jack Smith's effort to expedite his trial, and the court rejected. Meese points out he wasn't even properly appointed, that there's no actual position of the kind he occupies. I think this is all going to fall apart. I'm very, very worried, however, that there are powerful interests in the military security complex on the one hand and the deep state on the other that are not going to allow him to assume the presidency regardless of the will of the people, which means that our democracy, such as it is in America, may come down, crumbling down during 2024. I hate to say it, Dean, but as my crystal ball suggests, that's in the offing.
Yeah, I saw you post something about that, and as we go into 2024, before we kind of get in the festive things, and I really need a drink, Jim. I'm at that point where I'm about to become a firework myself, but we're going
Even
into.
here,
I know I'm very jealous, but I think this is why we took the opportunity to really get into just the festive just holidays because we know 2024 is going to be one hell of a year that is going to be unforgettable. And do you get the feeling, Jim, that this is going to be the year that's going to determine the future, the destiny of just individuals all over the world? 'Cause I kind of got that feeling too.
Well, there's a trivial and a non-trivial sense of that question. Trivially, it's always true that the next year is going to be determinative of the future. But in this case, 2024 is going to be a pivotal year for the history of planet Earth, not just America, not just local politics, but the fate of the world, Dean. Sad to say, it's going to be a serious, serious year.
Serious indeed, it is. We have a lot of questions. I think we're going to be open to taking questions all night, as we got we got a long way to go to midnight. How many hours? We got about an hour and change to go. We're going to be kind of just just letting ourselves go a little bit. Hopefully, not a lot of it, because then we'll have to hide this show immediately. But here's a question here, Jim. I know you have people watching all over the world that are here for you. We have Native Voice. God, I hope I'm saying that right. It's very French. Native Voice says, question, why are these blue states doing this? It's not going to, yeah, why are blue states doing what they're doing? Jim, why don't you go take a stab at that, will you?
Well, I presume we're talking about trying to block Trump from being on the ballot. It has no basis. The 14th Amendment doesn't support it. Interestingly, just 6 years after the 14th Amendment was passed, 51 former Confederate soldiers were elected to Congress. January 6th appears to have been fabricated precisely so they could use this to try to block Trump, but it hasn't worked. It's not going to work. The courts are going to dismiss it. Already is back on the Colorado. We have the Secretary of State of Maine, who's not even a lawyer, saying she came to her own determination. But there was no incitement. There was no insurrection. She's just embarrassed herself. And the white, rather beautiful state of Maine, where a very dear friend of mine has resided for decades and decades.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And we have a few more questions I'll try to get to. But Jim, I got to ask you real quick too, because and by the way, we didn't rehearse any of this. This is the first time we've spoke to each other in about a week. But speaking of the day after January 5th, it has come out that the depositions of the CCP light, I should say the CCP infused former party known as the Dixiecrats, all their depositions have gone missing, deleted, or have been are swimming with the fishes. What seems to be the deal there?
Are you talking about all the video deposition for the January 5th?
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
What happened there, Jim?
The Democrats contrived the whole thing. They were very selective in the evidence. They suppressed a whole mass of exonerating evidence. That's what they've been reduced to these days, weaponizing the courts, weaponizing the judicial system, selective prosecution. None of these cases has a foundation in law or facts, Dean, and it's just pathetic. What's become of what was once a significant political party? I always regard myself historically as a JFK FDR Democrat because I believe in the social safety network, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, unemployment insurance, workmen's compensation programs that actually benefit the American people. But since Trump entered the scene, came down that escalator at Trump Hotel, he has swept me away. I think he's the real deal. Now, what we have now in the Democratic Party is not just counterfeit, but actually an effort to sabotage America in undemocratic, un-American ways. It's a disgrace, Dean, sad to say.
Yes, it is. It is a rather disgraceful, and we will take a few more questions now. We talked about some of the biggest stories of the year, and I want to, kind of get away from the Middle East conflict because that really sucked up all the news in the past couple of months, and we totally understand that. But we came up with some things. I want to run these by you, Jim. Is one of them was the Lahana fires. That was just astounding. You and I, we did great coverage of that. Also, the other ones were the Canadian fires from our Canadian. We have a lot of Canadian viewers and friends and family up there. In fact, one of our Aaron Cates is up there. Also, the one that Cagney kind of knocked out of the park right away. Well, it was the loss of the Ukrainian war and the Putin win, if you will. and win of the attempted assassination that he merely managed to get away from that. What are some other things, or in addition to that, or if you want to speak on that, Jim, because those were some big stories.
Those were major stories. What's most important about Lahaina and Acapulco, for that matter, is weather warfare. At Lahaina, they were using directed energy weapons. They'd surveyed all the property. They took out all and only the homes that did not belong to the rich and famous. They're going to try to convert it into a resort area. It's happening in Acapulco. It's even happening in Gaza. You have real estate developers talking about prime real estate on the Mediterranean with a gorgeous view. Once they can just wipe those pesky Palestinians off the land that they have owned for 3,000 years, Dean. Think of it as an urban development project going on before your very eyes. And of course, the Hunter laptop business still, I mean, it's absolutely shocking how much the FBI and the Department of Justice have betrayed their responsibilities to the American people, Dean. Just stunning beyond belief.
Oh, without a doubt, Jim. I'm looking at, we want to say hello to all of our patrons all over Rumble. Hello, everybody. I think we will at some point have the wonderful, some of our wonderful Real Deal members join us here. I have to get to them. Jim, if I just had about 4 more arms, I think I could just manage to get through the night and even play a drum set at the same time. So we're going to be looking for inquiries here. We have Mr. Hazmat. Hello to you. He says 1 hour, 25 minutes to midnight here in the Midwest. That's just right. So here's what we're gonna be ringing in the New Year's for the East Coast, which I think we have. What do we have, about an hour and change to go? Okay, so we're going to be doing that with you. Then we're going to go stay a little bit and then go behind the scenes with the Real Deal members only. And I'm going to ring in the new year with the Central, the Midwest, the Mountain, and Pacific Standard Time. Also, Happy New Year to all of our UK and Australian and European viewers all over the world. So we are just a universal kind of ordeal here tonight. And yeah, Jim, I think you started your New Year's celebration early. New Zealand too. Yes,
my favorite Tanqueray and Canada Dry Tonic, my recommended combination with a little splash of lime.
Jim, show people how big that fish tank of a glass is there. That is a Viking.
My backup, because the original is in the dishwasher at the moment, or I would have it here too. But I have a backup about the same size, Dean.
Wow, and I believe every word you said. Okay, here's another one here. And yes, let's going to get so here's a question from Wild Mountain Bear. What schedule, time schedule? Yeah, Wild Mountain, we're all over the place. We are all over the spectrum here. Lily Junie says Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to you too, Matt Imber, and Happy New Year to Rumble. Yes, blessings. Happy New Year to you, Rumble Mania. And I just love it. And cheers, Jim, from Something Girl. Something Girl says cheers to you. She's trying to catch up to you.
Yeah, it's about an hour and 20 to the ball drops in New York City, Dean.
Yes, that's right. And our special ball tonight will be the hammer that will be dropping at midnight. At midnight, yes, it will be. Yes, it will be doing that. Okay, so here's another one I want to get to. And yes, Dr. Spa gives his regards. Thank you very much. Somebody sent that to us. So here's another one we want to talk about the winners and the losers of the year. I said the loser of the year, the individual loser of the year, was all the hype was RFK Jr. He had the will of the people. He had the family heritage, the history, and then his, he's for reparations, the Middle East conflict, and he was on Jeffrey Epstein's little plane there, an island. Do you see it that way too, Jim, or do you have another loser of 2023?
Oh, I think you're right. I think RFK Jr. started off so very strong. He had the whole country behind him, but he's frittered it away. I think a number 2 runner-up might be Ron DeSantis. I think if he'd waited 4 more years, his time would have come. He started out very strong, but he's fallen so far behind. Would you believe Trump now has support of 70% of the GOP primary voters. And all the others combined make up the other 30%.
Well, speaking of that, this is a little clip here I'm going to play for you, Jim, and I'll get your take on it. Well, as you know, we're all on Twitter. I guess I can still say that. I don't feel comfortable otherwise. But if you haven't missed it, sometimes I have to stay away because you can get sucked into a rabbit hole. You could be going there just to maybe to say hi to a friend or see what's going on. And then next thing you know, it becomes into a barrage of news and from fringe to cringe to hard to finds. Well, here's one of them that Jim Fetzer posted just the other day, captured my imagination and yours as well. Check this out.
We're going to take Biden out, and it's not going to be news.
This is a longer story. It takes a dark turn, but I think I have a good sense of what's going to happen here.
Okay.
They're leading into a trap. They're not going to let Trump get anywhere near the White House. They're not going to let him.
What about?
So the goal is, have him be the nominee, and by hell or high water, one way or other, they're not going to have him. They're not going to let him.
What about the other two, though?
It's not them.
Who is it?
It's within our own party.
Okay. It's within our own party.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Hey, look at the people who voted to keep Trump off the ballot. Who are they putting up? Who are lawsuits to keep him off the ballot? Larry Fink to Reid Hoffman. Who are they propping up? So it's a game. And I'm in this to make sure that doesn't happen. They want it to be a two-horse race, eliminate him, put up actually the Trojan horse within the Republican Party that keeps the war machine humming and keeps the restrictions on speech and the censorship agenda. Get it done. Who needs Democrats when you can get it done through the Republican Party?
Okay.
So you do the math.
Okay.
You do the math on that.
Okay.
That's what's coming.
Hey, thanks again for taking
Think
my
about it.
question.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
And I
Thank you.
appreciate your candor.
Thank you. Yeah, we're not going to touch.
Something special, isn't it, Jim? Let's talk about that. That's Vivek Swamsey, kind of letting the.
I really like the guy. Indeed. I like him a lot. And when I was thinking about who within the Republican Party would want to stop Trump dead in his tracks, if not literally dead, I think of Mitch McConnell. I think of Matt Romney. I think of Liz Cheney. Just think of the biggest rhinos in the Republican Party, because Trump represents a dual threat. He represents the national security, the armaments industry, because he wants to take away their favorite boogeyman, Russia, which is kind of cut massively into their profits on the one hand. And he actually has a plan to drain the deep swamp. It's called Schedule F. He's found a way to fire the members of the senior executive service who have played a role in shaping policy and making decisions that they were not elected to do. And those forces combined are resisting the man who would actually bring a new broom to Washington, D.C. He was boxed in before by a whole lot of deliberately chosen antagonists to ensure that his decisions weren't allowed to be carried out. But it's going to be a whole new story if he gets back into office again.
Absolutely. And let me just dispel this as who the Trojan horse is going to be. Wild Mountain Bear is pushing rumors. He's saying that Liz Cheney and me, Dean Ryan, are running on a ticket. I can assure you that's not the case. I don't think it's going to be me.
These are mediocrities. I mean, talking about Paul Ryan, who actually lives in Janesville. It's a hop, skip, and a jump from my residence, Dean. Liz Cheney, give me a break. She's pathetic. Even the voters of Wyoming dumped her out because they're disgusted with her. There's not a chance they're going to prevail.
She's like a human, like water buffalo, but from Wyoming, not Michigan. Isn't that something? Oh, my God. She just will not die, and I don't know how her father's still alive. That one I don't know.
I think he's had a lot of body part replacement, Dean. I thought that of Henry Kissinger, too. That they're being kept alive, maybe adrenochrome, body parts. I'll bet he's had a half a dozen.
Same with Soros as well. Okay, we have some more people chiming in here. Let's see here. And here's Gwyneth Davis saying Kennedy didn't go to Island, just between places in USA with his family. Gwyneth Davis. Okay, well, I heard another story too. And Gwyneth, you weren't one of the flight attendants. I'm kidding. No, thank you for that. That might be true. That could have happened. It was something I didn't really look into in the barrage of everything else going on, I think we're still finding out about it. But thank you, Gwyneth, for sharing that. That's very interesting. But he did get ahead of the story, Jim. He did get ahead of the story.
Yeah.
Because something's coming out. In fact, the big news story when we do come back to work in January, it's going to be the what is it? It's going to be the list that they're starting to shop again. That's about to drop. That is going to looks like it's going to be the big story. Do you see it that way, Jim? Because I'm getting prepared to come back to work for that.
I just did a verification. I got multiple stories. This is from OK Magazine. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. admits to flying on Jeffrey Epstein plane. New York Daily News. Robert F. Kennedy admits to flying on Epstein private plane. Newsweek. Exclusive. Robert F. Kennedy says he flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. So actually, it's not in doubt. And that was a very poor choice, bad judgment to do anything like that, Dean. Very, very deplorable.
Yeah, and just to be fair, like I believe one of our viewers was saying, Gwyneth Davis, is when you're hobnobbing in those levels, the upper echelons, you really sometimes don't know who's who. Somebody could be a philanthropist who's very, very rich and invites you to tea time, takes a picture with you. You never see them again. Next thing you know, you're connected to what could be a Mossad spy for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's how these things happen.
It was a Mossad op. I have no doubt about it. To use honeypots to gain influence and leverage over members of the Congress, of the House and the Senate, Dean, I have no doubt about it.
No doubt about it, indeed. Okay, here's another. Let's talk about the winners of the year. The winners of the year. For our late night update, which if you haven't seen, you should really see it. We did put a full college hour of a 50-minute piece out. I said Elon Musk is the winner of the year. It was a story that started early on with the Twitter files, everything that was found there, the reinsertment of many personalities who lost their Twitter pages and then putting disclaimers. I mean, this was to many seemed like the winner of the year. Do you see it that way, Jim, or someone else?
I give Musk second place to Donald Trump because he's prevailed over all these efforts to beat him down, to keep him off the ticket and all that. His support has only grown and grown and grown. Every effort they make to defeat him backfires, Dean. So I say Trump number one, but I like Elon Musk for number two.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, speaking of Gwyneth, you're on fire tonight. You officially got that. She is hi from New Zealand. Love you and Jim. New Zealand people are so nice. They don't believe in evil. I've told the Jim. I don't know if you've been to New Zealand before. I have in about 2015, and beautiful place. I'm sure you've seen it.
My favorite aunt and uncle sought to migrate to New Zealand. They went down, but they would not be accepted. But it is beautiful. And I and Greg Pilot, by the way, the man who would be king, have done a piece on the New Zealand Moss shootings, which were the original amateur hour, Dean. It's
it was a while ago. But it's regardless, the beautiful people. I mean, I was in a place called Queenstown where they shot the Hobbit movie and Lord of the Rings there. Just an incredible place. But yeah, they have, when the pandemic war started, they were really one of the first countries that endured the just tremendous lockdowns, the so-called camps, or family fun zones, whatever they call them. And Jacinda, the horse, the prime minister.
They had a traitorous government there, and she was using the Christchurch shootings to take away the guns from New Zealanders. It all began back in Dunblane, Scotland, which may have been the model for what we've had here in the United States, except they actually took guns away in New Zealand.
Well, didn't before that, though, they had the Christchurch shooting, or not, the Christchurch earthquake before the shooting. That was a big deal. Yeah, because I actually went there.
Our weather warfare, Dean, it's like the hurricane hitting Acapulco comes out of nowhere and place is devastated, and now developers are going to buy it up on the cheap and turn it into luxury condos, just like they're going to do with Gaza if they have the opportunity. God forbid.
Well, that's just it, Jim. You said it there. That's another story. All these big natural disasters that we saw and witnessed in 2023. And I don't know if you heard about this. I'm going to try to show you. This was said to me just last minute over there in Northern California just yesterday. I believe by the San Jose area, there was what they called a rogue wave. Did you hear about this, Jim?
I have
A,
not. Tell me.
a rogue wave over there in near Sacramento. I believe it's California. I think people might have heard about this, and it just came out of nowhere. People were just watching the waves go by on a holiday weekend here, and a rogue wave just came out of nowhere, and it was the size of a tidal wave, and it came fast, and I think 8 people are dead or died. And I'm
No, no,
thinking,
but
this
is
is
that
not
like
normal.
another contrived event, Dean? These are not naturally occurring phenomena.
No, they're not. No, they're not. In fact, here it is. I found it right here. I was not. I'll show you this. A
Sure.
massive wave in California hits. This is coming. This is from the Wall Street Journal. I think they do a good job of saying it. And I'm telling you, Jim, the coastal cities have taken a real beating all over the world with these. So, and they're trying to blame. What is it? Global. Can they still say global warming, or is it just climate
Let
change
me
now?
say that the Wall Street Journal is among the most reliable in news reporting of any publication in America. What New York Times once claimed to be, the Wall Street Journal still remains intact.
Here it is, right here. Check this out, and we'll give you commentary in the meanwhile. You're going to see a tidal wave, and these are one of my greatest fears because I'm used to live in Huntington Beach. Here it is. The wave comes and washes everyone away. Right there. Several people were injured when a large wave crashed in a crowd at Ventura Beach on Thursday.
That's so strange, Dean.
The waves crashed against the mountainside, and officials warned residents to avoid beaches as Pacific storms brought large waves to parts of the California coastline. Indeed. Waves up to 40 feet high were forecast in parts of the Northern California prone to major waves. And it happened so fast, officials in evacuation warning parts of Santa Cruz County, and some roads were closed, as you can plainly see right there. The National Weather Service warned that the dangerous coastal conditions would continue all over the weekend. There it is right there. Jim, let's talk about that because talk about devastation if that was a true tidal wave, what that could do to a coastal city in anywhere's America at this point.
Well, how do they explain it, Dean? I mean, maybe it is just an atypical, naturally occurring phenomenon, but I'd sure like to have the explanation.
Well, I'm sure that once we pay the carbon taxes, Jim, and for the green police, you'll get one. You'll get one. Indeed, you'll get one. We have something girl over there on Rumble saying waves all along the West Coast, flooding everywhere. Yeah, terrible, terrible. Hazmat says Fiji Island area had some major earthquake activity. So, something girl says global waving. Yeah, too soon, something girl. Okay, that could be. That could be. Then we have here we have Elizabeth Hudson saying that my township is a blue state. Actually put their foot down and said no to new gun restrictions in, I believe that's Michigan. I can't see.
Yes,
Declared
Michigan.
itself.
Yes.
Okay, there it is. And declared itself a Second Amendment.
Amendment sanctuary city and formed a legally recognized militia. Good for Michigan. Good for that town. That's terrific, Elizabeth. I congratulate your community.
Yes, congratulations to you. And well, while we congratulate you, Jim, we have a hard break coming up here because we have real deals, do's and don'ts. I'm going to tell you about here in a minute. But Jim, stand by. Okay, we got a break coming up here. When we look back at the year, we have our classic adverts. But before we do that, when we get back, we're going to play, or not even play. It's not like that, but we're going to share with you rather some of the real deal do's and don'ts for the new year. And we're going to get into all the new trends that are going to be making and probably gracing the stage with your kids or with you and women and just everybody in general as they try to turn the tide, speaking of tides, as the great new reset is going to change the lexicons of you, I, and everyone else. So stand by. You're watching the Real Deal Media New Year's Eve celebration with Jim Fetzer, aka Dr. Spa, and myself, Captain Flirt. We'll be back after this quick message. Don't go anywhere. Solid Gelato here says Paula Pelosi. And here's another question about that. Tracy Lynn Widgington says, so was the guy at Pelosi's house there to have guy sex? Yeah, Mr. Pelosi.
Sure.
Jim,
Sure,
we don't believe that, do
absolutely.
we, Jim?
Absolutely, 100%. And it turns out the hammer is actually a dildo. You can find it online. It's sold by Amazon.com for about $95. It's a vibrating dildo with batteries. So if you hit someone over the head, it would be like hitting them over the head with a flashlight. You know, this whole thing is such a sham. This guy is a complete left-wing freak. To try and make it out that he's a mega man is just insulting beyond words. When Pelosi called in to the police dispatcher, he began by saying there's a man in his house as though he didn't know his identity, and then realized that wouldn't apply. So he said, actually, his name is David, and he's a friend. And there was no break-in. There was glass on the outside from breaking it from the inside. And would you believe Paul Pelosi, Dean, not only went in for a skull fracture, but he had cut his hand and his arm when he broke the glass to fake it, broken it. And who has allowed the cops in? And there was a third party in the house. They were having gay sex with this hammer, and there may have been two of them. In fact, the pap said they were having sex, and then they got into an argument about drugs, and that's how they had to fight it.
Jim, hold on. I'm having cardiac arrest. Hold on a second. Okay, that's a lot of information. Anyways, here's what people are saying on Rumble. Okay, they're having a sword fight. I'm not sure what that means.
They weren't having a sword fight.
Well, let's not explore that factor, Jim.
That's gay language, you know.
Okay, moving on. Moving on from that. And thank you for joining us. This is World at War. If you're just getting here, this is where we concentrate on you, the viewer, and your comments, questions, concerns, conjecture, or just folklore of the gay underground. I guess we're into that now.
Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. Detective Cagney here. I just wanted to take a moment to say that as we bid farewell to the year that's been and embrace the possibilities of the one ahead, I raise my beloved coffee mug to each and every one of you. Here's to our community, bound not by just the airwaves, but by our shared passion of discovery, learning, and laughter that RDM has woven into our lives. I toast to you, for you, because you are the heartbeat that gives life to our discussions, the fuel that propels our conversations, and the spark that ignites our collective curiosity. Your enthusiasm, engagement, and support have transformed mere episodes into shared experiences, and for that, I am profoundly grateful. As we step into the unknown of a new year, I know that our Real Deal Media airwaves will be filled with tales of triumph, lots of insights that broaden our horizons, and moments of connection that will bridge the miles that lie between us. Here's to the countless stories that are yet to unfold, and to the discoveries awaiting all of our inquiring minds. May the coming year be a symphony of shared experiences, a tapestry of learning, and a celebration of the diverse perspectives that make our community vibrant and unique. So to all of you, from all of us at RDM, raise your glasses high, whether they be filled with the finest spirits or simply the purest intentions. Here's to the journey that we've embarked upon together, and to the countless episodes that are yet to come. May the new year bring you joy, fulfillment, and an abundance of fascinating tales. Thank you for a great year to our listeners, to all of our members, and to my colleagues, especially Dean, Aaron, Seth, and Jim Fetzer. I want to wish you all a very, very happy new year.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Cagney. That was very beautiful, and thank you, Higgins. You can remove that at your leisure. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to a Real Deal Media New Year's Eve celebration extravaganza and just all kinds of just fireworks happening. I'm still Dean Ryan. We are going to be cruising with you to midnight, seriously, and beyond. And doing that with me, who is already getting his drink on, the one and only Jim Fetzer. Jim, how great was that to hear Cagney, who's already celebrating her New Year's celebration all the way in Eastern Europe?
Wonderful. I thought it was very thoughtful. And Dean, I stand corrected. They may have been having a sword fight with their little
Well,
personal swords. So I agree to that. In the language of
um,
gay language, yes, a sword fight.
yeah. Yeah, we'll have to expand on that, or maybe in January, February. Speaking of which, here's some fireworks that are now happening in Cagney's local neighborhood. Check this out. Incredible. And I'm already hearing fireworks in my neck of the woods, Jim. So thank you, Cagney. That is wonderful. And, I would imagine that it's not going to be a good year for any Pelosi or anyone related to, as Gavin Newsom is, he's the nephew of Pelosi. I don't think they're having a good New Year's because the daughter of Pelosi kind of gave away the whole kit and caboodle about that very dangerous insurrection that had no weapons involved at all.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, DeSantis did us all a wonderful deed by taking down Gavin Newsom during their debate. He actually shredded him. I was very, very impressed. Chalk one up for Ron DeSantis. Good job, Ron.
Good job. Yes, it is. All right, I'm going to Rumble now. And I'm going to actually open up our landlines, I believe. We want to have a crowd of people toast with us on air because I believe Jim's going to be doing keg stands too at some point. As you know, he still goes to college. All right, here's some people here. This is from Mr. Watland. And how great was Mr. Watland in our Christmas special with Little Drummer Boy? Delightful. Very great. We love the harmonica, don't we? Okay. We have Hazmat who says many tsunamis produced by these earthquakes. Yeah. Yeah, there's some big earthquakes in Turkey, something around that nature.
And the earthquake can be induced by, HARP and other of these weapons. So again, I say, this does not appear to be a naturally occurring phenomenon, but induced. And they're punishing Turkey, too, for standing up against Israel by hitting them with earthquake, too. It's horrific.
Yeah, it is. It really is horrific. Here's another one here. We have Seth Black, who is a physician. He says 1 hour till the ball drops. Yes, spoken like a true OBGYN.
55 minutes, Dean. 55 minutes.
Seth, you're 5 minutes off. Please come back. Okay, we have Mr. Watland on Rumble saying, my wife asked me if I had any wisdom to impart about the last day of 2023. I told her that I thought that I had a kidney stones, but I whizzed them out. Okay, thank you, Mr. Watland.
That's not a lot of fun, Dean, as I understand it.
No, it's painful. My friend had one. He got one when we were still in high school, and it was very painful. I would never. Well, he got it from drinking too much soda. My former friend there from many years ago. Okay, here's another one. Oh, that wasn't a true thing there. Okay, it was just a joke. 2 hours in Texas, something girl says. Mr. Watland said that could be gunfire. When this was going on in 2020 around July 4th, we covered it, Jim. We knew that there were teams of people they were going to use the excuse of fireworks to start a planned riot hood. And that has always been my concern. Jim, when we look into the future, are we concerned about the uptick of violence? Because certainly violence is on the rise in all major cities around the country, and if not the West or the world.
Well, the Democrats have ceased law enforcement. They've legalized, shoplifting up to about $1,000. You can organize caravans. luxury shops are moving out of New York and other cities, San Francisco, no doubt, the homeless. The fact is that once you cease to enforce the law, it's like wildfire. It spreads and it's almost impossible to restore, Dean. So when the food shortage hits, and remember, they've been taking out millions of turkeys and chickens and meat processing plants right here in the USA now for a couple of years. It's going to be horrific. And you're going to find that the cities are dominated by gangs who have their own territory. A lot of people are going to die. They're going to work their way out to the suburbs. And if you cannot defend yourself, you're going to be out of luck, because remember, these guys are behind defunding the police, probably the single most stupid and inappropriate political slogan in American history.
Defund the police. How about defund the meter maids? They keep giving everyone parking tickets. I cannot stand them. How about you out there? It's a terrible thing. Okay, we're going to now open up our lines in a bit here. But before we do that, I have to share with you the total underrated story of the year, I believe. And the underrated story was or is BRICS. It's kind of been just very underplayed, Jim. What is your take on it? It's really hard to find information about it.
If I had number 3, Trump and Musk, I'd say BRICS right up there. It's becoming a powerhouse. The dollar is being weakened. Putin reported that it used to be used for 87% of Russian transactions. Now it's down to 20%. When the dollar goes, and once the Chinese introduce a gold-backed yuan, it is gone forever. We may need, the proverbial wheelbarrow of cash to get a loaf of bread. We're in for bad times, Dean. I wish I didn't have to report this, but the emergence of BRICS and the robust Russian economy, the ruble's at an all-time high, they're doing great. But our inept, our utterly incompetent governance of this phony president who didn't actually win the election and is now being blamed by imposters is doing the country in a serious way, Dean. I'm really sorry to have to acknowledge what's taking place.
Yes. I believe you're talking about the dead man, Joseph Biden, which reminds me, in our new season, we will be doing, I should have this readily available, but we will be doing the Hillary Clinton eulogy. As Jim said, he would be honored to do so. That we did for Joe Biden about 2 years ago. That got me in big trouble for some reason. But yeah, we will be doing the eulogy for Hillary Clinton in the new season. Jim and I, we have matching suits. We're going to look like the Undertakers. So we will let you know more about that as it happens. But now here's something else to look forward to, Jim. I'm going to tell you about this, and our viewers from all over the world, is all the new trends coming to 2024. We are living in the future, not the future that the Jetsons or Back to the Future Part 2 said it would be. But nonetheless, it is quite futuristic and virtual insanity, to quote Jamiroquai. Well, let me tell you a bit more about it. Well, here's some of the things that are going to be coming to pass according to, Forbes magazine, which I forgot they were still around, but that's just me. But here it is. Did you say you still read Forbes, Jim? Okay. Well, let me tell you about it here. So a lot of the things that they're saying that is coming is, of course, AI. AI is going to be the new kind of trend. Everybody's going to be using it. And you might even seen a transition with just simple devices you're using or software. Everything's going AI. In fact, if you're in college, you don't even have to write a term paper. And Jim, I don't even know how you would be a professor in this day and age with artificial intelligence writing essays.
Yeah, that's a great point. You're going to have to depend more on in-class examinations where they can't resort on these devices. But remember, AI are thoughtless, mindless entities. These are just sophisticated programs being run where they don't have the capacity to detect subtle influences in the environment that might make a tremendous difference. So they're going to react to a kind of gestalt that's pre-programmed. And if you got something taking place that the programmer didn't anticipate, you can be up the creek without the paddle.
Up the creek without the paddle. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Is the up the creek part is what's a little frightening. Well, this nonetheless, Forbes, who usually is somewhere near the on the spot area, they're talking about AI, the giant leaps forward for mankind and humankind in general, the technology innovations that will continue to amaze the youth, yet alarm the older class. I guess that's what anyone over just 25 at this point. So AI and Generation AI. So we have Gen X, we have the millennials, we have Gen Z, but the ones after that are Generation AI. Wow, what did Stanley Kubrick truly know? Another trend they're talking about is space exploration. And it said it's going to be a thrilling year for NASA as they come back into the fold, as they announce their own streaming service. What NASA on the go? Well, the James Webb Telescope continues to send back extraordinary images. Yes, if you don't know about it, well, Elon Musk is going to be back in the moon, he says, by 2024. Thus far, no word if Jim and myself are invited. And Jim, I think you would go to the moon if Elon Musk invited you.
Dean, we can't go to the moon. We can't survive the Van Allen radiation belt. It would require like 6 feet of lead, and you can't have that much mass actually get off the surface of Earth. So the whole project is a fantasy. It's ludicrous. There are going to be no manned mission to the moon, no manned mission to Mars. It's just a hoax. I'm really sorry to have to spell it out, but that's the way it is.
Well, that sounds like a no. I think we're not going to be going to the moon. So we'll have to pass and get the next one. So that's one of the new trends. Now, there's some business trends coming too, and it has a lot to do still with AI. It's going to be a lot of transparency with, the transparent AI that can it's pretty much the black lights that are going to be able to tell if you are a true person or not. Although, as you know, when you go to certain websites, they want to know if you're a robot or a human, and I hate those damn puzzles where it says, well, find the bus and make sure you click on all the squares. Once you find 3, you can move on. Well, some of those, you don't even know if they're a bus or just a little tricycle. So the economy now, let's get into the economy. They're saying the inflation will be slowing, and I'm predicting myself, and I've shared it with others, that I don't think the CCP Light are going to allow an economy crash. And Jim, I have to ask you, this is quite fascinating. I don't see the economy crashing in this election year on the Democrats' watch. They want to ease interest rates to have a kind of an imagination pretend economy going into November. Do you see it that way?
Oh, I think they'd love to perpetrate the deception, Dean, but I'm afraid they can't control inflation. You talk about the cost of a Thanksgiving meal, it's way up over what it was last year, which was way up over the year before. Inflation is going to be a major reason for rejecting any Democrat on the ticket, but I don't think anyone has the least interest in continuing what we've been going through for the last 3 years, Dean. It's a disgrace.
Yes, it is. It's disgraceful, and it pains me to even tell you about it, Jim, but I have to. Now, here's another trend they're now insisting that's coming, is the World Health Organization. They're saying that they're going to be taking a very, very big standpoint, trying to give us Coronapalooza once again. We heard about all the Pandemic 2.0 coming back. We bought all the T-shirts, all the memorabilia, but it is yet to really make its way to a theater near you. So that remains to be seen. It's according to Forbes, that is. Now, here's another one. We're going to be seeing a lot of taking sides. Taking sides. I mean, how many households out there, families, friends, circles, are all split because of the polarization in politics? And Jim, I think you know more than anyone what the politics of today is certainly not the politics of yesteryear.
Oh, you're so right, Dean. And Jan and I were very much on the same page in the past. But once Trump entered the picture, we had a division, which has only grown wider. And when you talk about the WHO, the absurdity is the head is not even a physician. He doesn't have an MD. In fact, he was a terrorist in Ethiopia. and they put him in a suit and gave him a tie and made him the head to promote the agenda of the World Economic Forum, which is not to enhance our health, but to destroy the vast majority of the world's population. Dean, we're in a dire strait.
Yes, we are, Jim. I couldn't agree with you more. Now, let me get to this now. Now, those are some of the trends. Those are a little bit of trends before we get to our resolutions for all of you. Now, here are some 5 key issues that are going to affect not just the outcome of the election going into 2024, but, well, your circle of friends, family, and even the workplace. Well, let me fill you in on this. So this is coming from, sad to say, MSN, mainstream, just lamestream urine-soaked media. Well, 2024, as we know, will be the most monumental year to date. And don't we know it? We've been saying that for quite some time. But this one's a little different here. Is now the big issue is going to be abortion. That's going to be coming back into the fold here. Isn't that something? And let me just preface this with the Democrats have also asked big tech to prepare to start censoring big time in 2024 for abortion. Now, we heard this and we shared that with you just weeks ago. We can understand why, but now we do. It's going to be a big political football issue. Continuing, AI and deep fakes. And don't we know that? We went over AI and the institution of it throughout society, how they're rolling it out. That's going to be a big issue to tackle. And you might even hear it in the campaign, just stump speech somewhere. Now, here's another one. Workforce shortages. Well, we heard about the head nurse, nurse practitioners in hospitals just taking little X's and charts to see who took the miracle jabs and putting a little check next to their name. And one of the whistleblowers told us, well, that's because they took the miracle jabs and they're kind of guessing they might not be working at that employment much longer. Hence, the next the next issue, immigration. Well, yes, many border states, governors, lawmakers, and from both parties have increasingly taken matters in their own hands for historic number of migrants. Yes, I'm sure they have. Well, in just the last few weeks, both parties, if you can believe it, the Union Party have taken a huge and sometimes controversial legislative steps to tackle the issue. In fact, the governor, Greg Abbott over there in Texas, recently signed legislation allowing police to arrest migrants who cross the border illegally. Well, there is one take. Let me get your take on that, Jim, before I tell you the last big issue of next year. Immigration is huge. I mean, that was a very underrated story, but yet one of the biggest stories of the year.
Absolutely. Based on U.S. Census Bureau data, 50 million of the population of the U.S. now, that's 15%, is foreign born. And we have this huge number of illegals pouring across the border, and they're being invited in by Biden. They're being given $5,000 gift cards in addition to $2,200 a month to live. They're being given homes, they're being given food, they're being given all kinds of benefits, even green cards to work. This is going to create chaos in America. And even the mayor of Chicago is pleading with the Biden admin for help because the city is being swamped. I mean, you got to consider the effect on the medical system, on the public education. I mean, all the schools are having enough problem, remedial education. Now you're bringing a whole bunch of foreigners who don't speak English. It's a recipe for calamity. And Dean, it's all being done on purpose.
Yes, it is. A new American Civil War is definitely on the horizon. They're trying to push that. And, I must say, though, and I shared this on air, my favorite story that is very kind of a not well-known story is the Venezuelan migrants that wound up being sent to Chicago. Jim, it was so bad where they wound up being, they actually took the initiative to go back home to Venezuela. I mean, what does that say? We're sending all the billions are going to Ukraine and all these different places, Israel, but we have eroding, very, very famous classical cities of the U.S. Well, they're not going to be a city anymore.
That's right. They're turning the United States into a third world country. And people here are going to want to escape somewhere else because it's turning into a wasteland, a wasteland that was once a great nation.
Once a great nation. Yeah, I do believe that. Okay, we're going to get our Real Deal members to give us a buzz. We're going to have them call in here as we get to our trend forecasters. Because, Jim, you're a trendy guy. You know about trends. Let's see here. Let's get him to call in. And also, Jim, I made the announcement, I believe, to our members, and I'll tell you, our next big project going into 2024. If you liked, well, Baby, It's Cold Outside. In fact, have you seen Baby, It's Cold Outside? If you haven't and you're new, well, I think we have it ready to go. In fact, here it is. And I'll tell you what we're about to embark on in our trend forecasting next year. Check this out.
Is it hyphen or dash? Which is the little thing there? Tell me the difference. DEX, Trinex, okay? 18 degrees, and here are the Chirals with cheat, baby, it's you.
It's not the way you smile that touch my heart. It's not the way you kiss that tears me apart. Whoa, many nights roll by. I sit alone at home and cry over you. What can I do? I can't help myself. 'Cause baby, it's you.
Really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I got to go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has been
Hoping that you drop in.
so very
I'll
nice.
hold your hands, they're just
My
like
mother
ice.
will start to worry.
Beautiful, what's your
My
hurry?
father will be pacing the
Listen to
floor.
that fireplace
Really
roar.
can't stay.
Beautiful, please
Our
don't
bed is
hurry.
cold outside.
I'll put up some records while I pour. They called in the police dispatcher. He began by saying there's a man in his house. His name is David, and he's a friend.
I think we must go.
Baby, it's cold outside.
The answer is no.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Welcome has been
Hoping that you
so
drop in.
nice and warm.
Look out your window at that
My
store.
sisters will be suspicious.
Gosh, your lips look
I made a
delicious.
man's minds are vicious. Maybe just a cigarette more.
Beautiful, don't hurry. I'll put some records on while I pour.
Jim, lend me your coat.
Baby, it's bad out there.
Really been grand.
Touch when you touch my
But
hand.
don't you see?
How can you do this thing to
There's
me?
bound to be tough
Think of
tomorrow.
my lifelong
At
sorrow.
least there will be plenty
If you got pneumonia and died,
can't stay.
and over that whole town. Baby, it's cold outside.
Baby, It's Cold Outside, rising up the charts here, and the Billboard charts, that is. Jim, it still astonishes me. Big kudos to you, Jim Fetzer and Karen Peterson. It must bring back a tear to your eye, Jim. I know it does mine. and I'm not even that drunk yet. A
Yes,
lot of people
it
love that.
does choke me up, Dean.
Yes, it does. Yes, that does. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to be doing a big project in the new year. I'm ready to announce it. We're going to be taking on the 1960s, and this project is called the Great Cocktail Party, and we're going to be focusing on the early 60s, from 60 up until just before the JFK unfortunate incident. But we're going to try to tell the stories of that era and maybe throughout the years as well. But we're going to focus too and recreate the Jim Fetzer graduation party from college. What do you think about that, Jim?
What a great idea. And yeah, I graduated in 1962 and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps at graduation, served 4 years, anchored out in Kaohsiung Harbor when the officer of the deck awakened me at 3:30 to tell me JFK had been shot. And then an hour later, awakened me again and told me they got the guy done. It was a communist. I thought that was pretty fast work. Today, I know why.
Yes, exactly. So we can't wait to do that. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now we're going to get into some of our trends, our do's and don'ts. Well, Jim, we haven't really done this before. This is your first time, but we're going to be now getting into real deal, real deal do's and don'ts. I hope we can. At least that was the plan. Well, yes, here we go.
Real deal, do's and don'ts. Real deal, do's and don'ts. Real deal, do's and don'ts. Real deal, do's and don'ts.
Yeah, real deal do's and don'ts. That's absolutely correct. Okay, and joining us too, before we even really get to show the first slide, well, one of our real deal members is joining us. Happy New Year to you, almost, Dana, all the way from Oklahoma
Happy New
University.
Year. Happy New
Dana,
Year.
so
Wonderful
Dana,
to see you.
we have to ask you, Dana. You're a hair salonist, and you see a lot of trends all the time. What do you see, kind of just from your perspective, of some of the new styles that women are doing? Are they reverting back to yesteryear, or are they going futuristic in the world of AI?
Both.
Okay,
Because even the mullet's coming back.
the mullet is coming back.
There's a
Oh,
lot of
that's
people out there
exciting.
wearing the mullet.
That's
Seriously.
exciting. That is exciting. We love the mullet. Jim, I think Jim has a mullet. Didn't we have a mullet of Jim? Anyways, regardless. Okay, we're going to get into this now. And Dana, you can play along with us or just learn with us as well, as we now do
Okay.
real deal do's and don'ts, because we are very concerned about the future of forecasting and the trends of the United States. Here it is. Okay, let's get into this. Hopefully this works. I worked on it before. All right, so there's the real deal do's and don'ts. And yes, Danny, are you currently at a dorm room in university, or am I just imagining things? Because Jim goes to college from college night. All right, here it is. The first one here is a real deal. Damn it, this is the wrong damn video. Oh boy, Jim, I really screwed this segment up big time.
You'll salvage it, I have no doubt.
Well, while I do this, here's a quick message from two people that love the show.
Love lifters up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love lifters up where we belong, far from the world we've known, where the clear winds blow.
What I said.
It gets me every time, Jim. I just get, it's just so emotional, isn't it, Dana? Okay. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. I do apologize, everybody. All right, here we go. We're going to do real deal do's and don'ts. And we surveyed roughly about 1,000 people, Jim, that are viewers of the show, all female and one guy, just if I recollect. So here it is. Here's the first one. Can we get that on? There we have it. All right. Real deal do's and don'ts. The first one is We want to tell people for the 2024 edition of What's to Come, here's a real deal do's and don'ts. Start the new year by giving your neighbor a hug. Jim, what's wrong with that? Walk outside tomorrow, knock on his
Well, it
door.
could be pretty chilly, and it might
Here's a
not
don't.
be well received.
And here's a don't you don't want them to do is what is it? Start the new year by what the my God, it's turning the circus here. Start the new year by cutting out your neighbor's by telling your neighbor he's out of milk while wearing his bathrobe. You don't want to do that. Okay. This is a wonderful segment, Jim. It used to be. Anyways, that's something you don't want to do. Oh, here's a real deal do. Begin to help old ladies across the street while whistling zippity doo dah. That seems nothing wrong with that, right, Vanna? You do that all the time. Well, here's a don't. Help old ladies across the street into the euthanasia centers in Canada. You don't want to definitely do that. That's a terrible thing to do. Dana, yeah, don't get any ideas on that one. Here's a real deal do. Go to church early and help others get to their seats. I used to be an usher for church. That was something I loved to do. But here is a real deal don't. Go to church early while hungover and ask the church lady for a lap dance. You don't want to do that. And Jim, I think, did that last year, and it didn't work out well. Well, here's a real deal dude. Tell your wife she looks great in those jeans. Women love to hear that. By the way, Danny, you look great in those jeans. But here's what you don't want to say. Here's a real deal don't. Tell your wife she looks better in sweatpants. You definitely don't want to say that. Oh, God. And I'm with you on that one. Here's a real deal do. Take your kids to the park to celebrate the new year. That's a wonderful pastime, a father and his children or mother. Well, here's a real deal don't. Take your kids to the milkman's house and introduce them to their real dad. That happened to me when I was a kid, and I'm still not over it. Here's a real deal do. Start the new year by singing a love song for your wife in front of the family. Love it.
Yeah.
And it should be 3 Dog Night if you're going to do it, in my view. Well, here's a don't. Start the new year by singing The Lady is a Tramp for your wife in front of the family. That is not what you want to do at all. And I think that is it. The real deal do's and don'ts.
Wow. Real do's and don'ts. Real do's and don'ts.
Well, here's a real deal don't. Probably never do that segment for New Year's Eve again, I learned. So anyways.
I think your don'ts hit it out of the ballpark. I was less confident about your do's.
Well, we try to just help all sorts of people. Let's take some questions. And if you're trying to book a hair appointment in the new year, we know how crazy that can be. We have our hair salonist here for you. Dana will do that for you. And while I'm panning for gold, Dana, what was kind of your favorite moment of the year when you look back at the Real Deal Media repertoire, especially Jim? He was part of so many resilient moments.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, you play this segment all the time. I have to say, you already know. Let's go there. It's
Oh, okay. I think you're talking about
with the dildo.
Yeah, Dana. I mean, people are watching. You be careful there.
This is my favorite.
Yeah. Yes, it is. She's talking about the wonderful pink
It's
hammer,
funnier
which
and
is
funnier every time I watch it.
that was actually October 2022. A lot of people may not know. I'm going to go to Rumble here. I know. I forget too. And Jim, I think if you have any favorite moments as well, feel free to share. Here is something girl on Rumble, no pun intended, says her neighbor is trans and her girlfriend is 400 pounds. Wow. I was not expecting that. Okay. Here's a real deal don't from Hazman on Rumble. He says, don't fry bacon naked. Jim, that is true. It could alter your life entirely. Okay. Hazman also says, or Hammer Time rather, says, don't tell her she looks good today. Yeah, that could be a trap. What do you mean by that? Okay, let me go to Facebook and YouTube. And also, I am drinking this. Jim, I forgot to show you before the show. I'll show you now. I'm drinking a Paulaner all the way from Munich, Germany. As we are getting close to New Year's, everybody. This is getting close. I'm gonna, you know what? Should I open it now, Jim? And do I need to get on your level? Okay, we'll do that.
24 minutes,
Oh,
Dean.
shit! Fuck! Fuck! Oh, my short fell.
Live television, Dana. You never know what's going to happen next.
You never know.
Damn it!
Oh, I'm sorry, Dean.
He opened the beer and it just buzzed all over the place, right? It shot all over.
Everywhere. It just exploded all over his lap.
God damn it!
So inadvertently, it had been shaken up somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
He's coming back.
It's all over the
We're
suit.
counting on it.
Did you finish your drink yet, Jim? You still sipping?
Still working on it. 22 minutes, by the way. 22 minutes.
Oh, shit.
Still working. All right. Where's your mango margarita? I figured you'd be having a mango tonight.
Hold on.
The gin and tonic tonight.
Oh,
I do love that frozen mango margarita. I recommend to one and all.
Yeah.
okay, I'm back. Got all over the work area here, and my pants fell off too. Subsequently.
Already,
Well-
ain't even midnight yet. It's already off.
Well, I know. All over this damn suit. Sorry about that. We're so live, aren't we? Damn it.
Oh, yeah. We've been hearing every word, Dean.
Tonight is just going flawlessly. Here's a message. Here's a word.
Good times.
Here's a word from the great Seth Astley. He's got a message about never giving you up.
Gonna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Ooh. For so long. But you ate my fucking popcorn. Don't you shy, don't say it. Don't know what's been going on. We know the rules, you don't eat my popcorn. And if you ask me how I'm feeling, Sandy Oak is on my mind.
Okay, thank you very much, Seth Astley. Wonderful, wonderful. You know, Jim, if we had a time machine in the future, I would love to go back to, maybe probably before the show. Anyways, what I was trying to get at, I was trying to make a toast, a pre-New Year toast. Man, I smell like a bar mat at the end of the night. You know, almost cut myself too. I slipped on the. It's very dangerous in the Real Deal Mini Studios. Anyways, so here's a pre-New Year's. Well, it's still 2023 here. Happy pre-New Year. Okay.
Cheers.
Oh my God. It's like ice skating getting here. What were we talking about? And well, okay, we were taking questions, everybody. We're taking questions. Here we have, yes, Solid Gelato says, Seth rolled. Yes, he did.
There you go.
He rolled on Molly and I believe ecstasy a little bit before that. Thank you very much for noticing. And Dana, I think you were there as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have Nigel Dyer /Farage. Sure, a German explosion. Dean, who needs fireworks? Yes, it is. Okay. Here's another story of the year, Jim, that from a different side of things. Music. We saw the resurgence, Jim, of the Rolling Stones with a brand new album and the Beatles with their last brand new song. Both, you know, especially the Beatles using AI in the music studio. This was kind of a big deal. I mean, it must have felt like you were in college again, speaking of which.
Well, the fact is, it's going to raise question about authenticity and creative ownership of songs. If the AI is being used to write them, who actually has copyright? I think it's going to be a problem for the industry.
It could be a problem for the industry. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Here is another question. And Dana, you must be very excited too because uh, Def Leppard is touring, and we know about your times with Def Leppard in the '80s.
But I didn't know they was touring. Good to know. I'll have to check out the tour dates.
You also didn't know Frank Zappa's son's name either, and we know how true that is. Okay, so there's that one. If you want to call in, feel free to call in. We're going to open this up. If you're looking for a haircut tonight, we have our Real Deal Salonist. Feel free to do that. I'll put this in Rumble here. And you want to call in and toast with us. We're just, Jim, about 15 minutes away from 2024 live on air?
Let me check, Dean.
Yeah, feel free to check. And
18 minutes. 18 minutes.
Okay. And while you're doing, I'll be checking my blood pressure too. Yeah, it's through the roof. That's for sure. No doubt about it. Feel free to call in. Also, if you have an inquiry or five. Here's another thing too, Jim, that I'm looking forward to. Is what is this world going to look like, Jim? Let me ask you this, because I've been meaning to ask you. What is America going to look like in the world if a Biden removal happens and, like, let's just say Trump comes back to the White House some way, somehow? What are we looking at going forward in that type of environment?
My opinion is Trump can do a lot to right the ship of state. He'll secure the border. He'll make us energy independent. He'll get gas and oil back on the front burner. He'll get the economy surging. He's going to run the biggest deportation program in American history. I think there are a lot of good things that can develop if he can get back into office. But Paul Craig Roberts and others, even Vivek Ramaswamy, are suggesting that their powerful forces are going to go all out to ensure that doesn't happen. And by the way, those who thought that Trump was just one of the boys, you got to appreciate the enormity of the efforts they're taking to keep him out of office. If he were one of them, go with the flow. He's got the popular support of the people. He earned over 100,000 votes in 2020. Biden maybe 37 million. I mean, you could just put him into office and go with him, but they don't, because he's a major threat to the powers that be, Dean. It's like nothing we've ever seen before in American history.
Yeah, that would be a sight to see for the record book for sure. So is this one too. And, as we're kind of recollecting the year here with Jim Fetzer and our very own Real Deal member, Dana, Dana, we have to talk about that wonderful Halloween show we did. And you came up with a wonderful costume, and Jim was one of the judges. Do you recall this, Jim? This was just... And Karen was the popcorn girl. In fact, Dana, who is very well known fundraiser.
Yeah.
Initially, you were the car washer here. As this was the video that you really rose to fame. It's like roughly 1985. I think you were in that car too, if I recall. But we'll never forget that. And Jim, full part in the StarTAC scene. There's Jim right there. He's a natural blonde. He's just a man of many faces. There he is again. He's one of the Blue Monsters. We loved it through and through. And, of course, Dr. Spa.
Some of my favorite roles, Dean.
Yes. You're a man of many talents, I tell you. And then there's actually a question I want to address here. Somebody who threw shade at me. Can you believe it, Jim? Can you believe somebody threw shade at me, out of all people, saying the following: computer doesn't work anymore. Anyways, because I probably spilled beer on it, but somebody said to me, how dare I celebrate New Year's Eve? I want to address this silly cow live on air because we have some time to kill. And that's kind of what I do around here. Isn't that true, Dana?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you mess with a bull, you'll get the horns. Mess with me, you'll get the horns and a fistful of fisticuffs. Okay, here's something here. Okay, let me show you this picture, and Jim, feel free to rebuttal as well, because that's the kind of 2023 people we are. So here you have the posting on Facebook, and my piece of shit laptop too, and it's probably broken. This is going to be a fabulous show tonight. Let's party like it's 1999, Dana says. Well, that's very sweet of you, Dana. What other sweet comments are there? Well, we have Sandra Gerson, who's a real charm. She says, of the Gregorian calendar, what does she say here? She says, not something to celebrate except for getting drunk and seeking instant gratification. Research the source of festivity. You'll be surprised unless the behavior is the foundation of your life. Really? Jim, what do you think about that? And before I tell you what I answered, how do we answer that? She wants me to research, and then she's calling me a loser. How do we answer that?
Well, that's a bit of a downer there. You know what I mean? Yeah,
believe me, it goes up.
You know, festivities, some more extraordinary than others that are associated with almost any of these famous dates in history, such as New Year's Eve or Christmas or Easter or Thanksgiving. But I think we want to, you know, be upbeat about the new year and hope things get better rather than worse, because we've been through quite a year in 2023. I'm hoping 2024 is going to be refreshing and positive. And not an instant replay.
Well, yeah, you're like me, Jim. I couldn't agree more. And, you know, Sandra Gerson, who's quite the opposite, might think otherwise. Well, here's what I rebutted, because I just happened to be up at that hour. Well, that's what the incredible, extremely intellectual Sandra Gerson says. Well, here's what Dean Ryan says. Says Sandra Gerson, I'd feel the same if I had no friends, no life, and I looked like Sasquatch. Please go crawl your way back to the zoo. Sad. And, you know, it's the festive cheer of New Year's, Jim. I'm a friend.
A little harsh. Just a little harsh.
Was it really? Okay. Maybe.
I hope I never make you mad, Dean.
No, Dana, you could never do such a thing. It's not me. You never want to make Jim Fetzer mad. That is the one you got to worry. Okay, so there's that one. Let me go to the question. Other question here, and I have a Dana was part of this too. Okay, anyways, Debbie Downer, Solidarity. Yeah. Where's her zookeeper? Is my question. Where's the zookeeper when you need him?
As well? Yeah.
Negative Nancy.
11 minutes to count down, Dean.
11 minutes. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, my entire computer has defaulted. Just incredible, Jim. How just, you know, since I've been doing this, Jim, I've had the shittiest equipment known to man, but it's really new. I've just been so infiltrated. It's incredible. Okay, nothing works. Okay, so who's around here? Hazmat, she's a killjoy. Yeah, she kills everything. And in fact, if you don't know, I'll show you what she is. You don't want to see it. 10 more minutes, Jim.
Yep.
We have peace, harmony, health, and abundance to all of us. Yes, it is. Can't beat the vibrations between the legs and that sound. Hammer time. What does that mean, Dana? And I'll take my answer off air if you choose. Okay. Okay. All right. You know, while we're waiting, we're going to take just another timeout here, Jim. We're going to show you some of this year's wonderful little outros, intros that we're so proud of. And Dana, you have a favorite one, don't you?
Would you say intros?
Yes. Intros, outros. In fact,
talking about short clips.
Actually, my favorite intros, not this year. It's really one of your first ones, but it's my absolute favorite. But I'm, you know,
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that's what it's all about. Well, here's a wonderful clip. Here's a wonderful clip of if you love World at War, you certainly love all the attributes of it. As my computer just completely melts, just complete junk this is. As I'm just torching that, I want to go take a walk down memory lane as we have 9 minutes to go. Then we're going to get crazy and I'm going to howl at the moon. But before we do, here's a little walk down memory lane and one of Jim's favorite moments as we traveled all along Route 66. Check this out. When I was down, you just stood there grinning. You got another breath, sing every melody. You just want silence. You said I let you down. You know it's not like that. You were so you say you lost your way. That's not where it's at. And I'm afraid to lose in your
I bet there's a reward in all this big enough to choke a plow horse. Well, what are you standing there for, lead heads? Mount a massive manhunt.
All the bus around here. All the bus.
Better than Mickey and Mallory, Dean.
Oh, we were just moments away, Jim, and the new year cannot get here soon enough.
5 minutes.
Oh, man, I'm having a war back here. War back here. Okay, let's start panning for gold here. Is that a mini-me in a sidecar? Yeah, Jim, who was in the sidecar with you in that motorcycle? That was something interesting. We have E-Cash, keep vibing high. Believe me, Dana is. No problem there. Well, that's not vibing low. Soligiato says, we'll get that. Sasquatch are throwing huge bonfire parties in the woods right now. Yes, they are. Jim, I never asked you, do you believe in a North American beastly mammal named Bigfoot? We really never covered that.
You know, I have a very dear friend who actually had an encounter, so he's written about with a Sasquatch, and he's convinced 100% it was real. And I know him to be a soul of integrity. So based on my knowledge of his integrity, I have to believe what he's telling me was accurate and true.
Okay, and Dana, I never asked you because We've never done a New Year's Eve here in the East Coast. You believe in a North American mammal? Because I keep seeing it pop up in the feeds everywhere. It's almost like we're getting ready to roll out a Project Bluebeam or some kind of new little ET from Peru. What do you think is going to be a big revelation here in the new year? Yeah, that's what I think.
Yes, the
that's what I was
Project
thinking too.
Bluebeam. I mean,
which one?
bring
Go ahead,
on
tell me.
the holographics. I mean, I think that they're gonna. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just ready for a new year. I'm ready for a better year, better things to come.
Here's a question, Jim. This is from Mr. Watland, who certainly has no problem opening beers that just ruin your suit. Is the IRS going to come after people? What do you think, Jim? Is the IRS, who are completely just... What are your thoughts on that? Are they going to be coming after us in the future?
Well, the idea of having, 35,000 armed IRS agents, that's very intimidating for the American people. I don't like it at all, Dean. And that's a good reason to vote against a Biden re-election all by itself, in my opinion. Just outrageous. What a waste of time and money and resources and trying to scare the wits off of the American people. You're supposed to be working on our behalf, not against us.
Couldn't agree more. And thank you, Rhonda Jones. I just saw that. You just made my night here. Do you know, if I was there, I'd give you a New Year's Eve hug. Well, likewise, and thank you for that. And yeah, that's a wonderful hug. And speaking of hugs, one of the highlights of the year, and I remember this now, is Daddy got a hug from these two ladies here, or gentlemen rather. Who was that there, Dana? This was at a charity event. I'll never forget. That was Alice Cooper, and that was the mayor of New York. What's her name? Choluja?
2 minutes to go, Dean. 2 minutes.
2 minutes to go. Okay, and we have the great Seth Astley here, or Black Astley. Wonderful song, Seth. Thank you for calling in. You're going to be joining the festivities here. Oh, 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go, Jim.
Do you want to go to the countdown in New York
Hey,
City?
everybody.
Yeah, let's do
Happy
it.
New Year.
Let's do the countdown. We're going to do the countdown now. God, can I make it in time, Jim? Why don't you tell me about this? New York countdown. Now, if you're watching at home, you don't need to go to Dick Clark. We're here right now. Come on. All right, here it is. Damn it, Ticketmaster. I hate YouTube. Why can't we... Let's take care of them, Jim, in the new year. Oh, here it is. Here's the countdown. Here it is, everyone. Damn it.
59, 58, 57.
Here's the big countdown. Jim, we're going to go streaking after this.
I'm glad you got it, Dean. 47, 46, 45, 44.
Are you going to count the whole thing, Jim?
I know.
37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29,
All right, everybody.
28,
Get ready.
27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy New Year.
Wow, look at that.
We're there, Dean.
Ooh, I can get something good.
Wow. For all the acquaintance.
Made it another year.
What was that song?
Oh, the acquaintance be. No, come on, Jim. You lead the choir.
Or Harry and Sally when you need them.
I know it, right?
I couldn't be celebrating this with a better group of people.
I don't know what it means.
Happy New Year from all of us here at Real Deal Media. For Jim Fetzer, who I started this whole thing with, what a testimony, or excuse me, testament. I'm a little drunk now. I was drinking beforehand. What a testament, Jim, to be here with you tonight, and all of you.
My great pleasure, Dean, and to all our real deal family. I just wish you all a wonderful 2024.
Okay, the cameraman was getting a little wacky there. I don't know. He started his drinking too. We'll
Was
come back
that
to
Eric Hates Spellman?
Might as well. Wow. Well, Happy New Year. Jim, what a time to be alive here with all of you here tonight, wherever you are in the world. All of our viewers, our friends, and everything. This is just incredible. We're going to do Times Square one of these years, Jim. We're going to broadcast live from Times Square. That's what we're going to do.
That would be awesome.
Susan Stevens, a Happy New Year to you. Tracy Whittington, who is very famous for with that commercial. Happy New Year to you all. Thank you very much. Lena Star Moon, Happy New Year. Dean, Jim, Dana, and Seth. It sounds like a band right there. Thank you very much. Rhonda. Let's go to Rumble. Don Anderson, Derek Jean, so many. Nigel, Maddie Lynn. We're gonna go to members after this. Jim, should we do a song right now? I kind of feel we should. Should we get ready to do that? Should we do our famous
scary thought?
All right, I gotta go, everybody. See you, Jim. Bye, Dean. Bye, Dean.
Happy New Year to you. Oh my God, Sam Chaney was going to be here tonight, but my computer malfunctioned. Sam, if you're watching this, I couldn't get the link to you. Everything malfunctioned on my end. Let's. Here's what they're doing at Times Square. So here's what we'll do, Jim. Is we'll go to Times Square for a little bit. Jim and I, we're going to come back and do our most famous song about rain dropping on your heads. If he will get his lyric sheet ready. And we'll do that for all of you before we go to our members only. And Dana, you can play tambourine too. It's very possible. So while we get that ready, and I continue to drink with Jim in the after hours here is Times Square and all the lovely Americans wishing you a Happy New Year. Here it is. We'll be right back.
We are extending the Midnight Magic thanks to our friends at Fountain Blue, celebrating their 70th anniversary.
Oxytocin, making it all okay.
All right. Well, here we go, Jim. We haven't done this classic song in quite some time, but what better time to do it now to start the new year with a positive because, quite frankly, you can only go up from here. And Jim, are you ready for this?
I'll brace myself, Gene.
This is crazy. We haven't even rehearsed in quite some time, but Jim, you are a crooner for certain. Okay, here we go. Let's hope I can remember how to play it. This is Raindrops keep falling. Ready, Jim? One, 2, 3.
Raindrops are falling on my head. And just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I did me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done, sleeping on the job. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing I know, the blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
We should probably not drink so much, Jim, beforehand. And if you're, anyways, that was a classic song we didn't rehearse beforehand. But Jim is a connoisseur of Beatles songs, Jim. So whatever song from the Beatles catalog Jim would like to do, we'll play. What is your favorite, Jim? So, because Jim wanted to do this tonight. Jim wanted to do this tonight. We do take requests from the audience. We do take requests, and this might be the last New Year's Eve show in quite some time. It's been 3 years since I've done one, 4 years since I've done one, and this beer is great, unless it's all spilled. Your pick, Jim, and let's go to Rumble here. We do take we work for tips, people. We do work on tips. And
well, there's so many Beatles songs I like so much. I'm looking for Eleanor Rigby, actually.
Oh my god! We're gonna do one more song, whatever Jim likes to do, and then we're gonna call it a night. Why don't we do Obla Di Obla Da, Jim? That's a wonderful song.
All right, sure.
All right.
There's a barrel in the marketplace. Despite what he's done, his family fall into disgrace. All he is a singer in the band. We got lots of friends. Too bad he's a bitch. And no one likes
Jim,
her in the
sing
end.
this song. We can't read it like a report. You gotta see. Okay, before we lose the ratings, let's continue. We're gonna continue with our members out there because we're gonna do a little rehearsal beforehand. But let's kind of close it off here, Jim, before my hand freezes here. We gotta sing the song. Anyways, Dan, I'll bring you back. We're gonna say our final thoughts, everybody, for 2023. Thank you for sticking with us. We hope you had fun. We're gonna try to do another proper song for our members. Jim, final thought here as we go into. Okay, final thoughts here as we now just started the brand new year for the East Coast of the United States. I got beer on my elbow now. We're going to start with you, Dana. Just a final well wish for the new year as all the people around the world are waiting. Dana, final well wish.
I wish everyone a happy new year and the best of 2024. I want nothing but good for 2024. Health, everything. I know I've been through a season of health. I'm ready for some Well, I've already been changing my diet, so I'm just ready for everyone to be healthy and peace and love.
Peace and love indeed. And I cannot wait for the future, Jim. All the new AI toilets coming. God, I'm excited as ever. Final thought, Jim Fetzer, and a well wish for all of our viewers around the world.
Well, Dean, we're living in precarious times, and I encourage everyone, and I'm signing off all my shows the same way these days. Spend as much time as you can with your family, your friends, and people you love and care about, because we do not know, we literally do not know how much time we have left.
We do not know. That is true. And I thought I'd do a little different final thought, just because I wouldn't want to leave on a little mishap in any kind of performance. I'll leave this because when I hear this song, I do think of Jim Fetzer. So I will play it for all of you, including Jim. There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some don't ever, not for better. Some have gone and some remain. All these places lose their meaning, with people and things that came before. And I know I often stop and think about them. In my life I loved you more. Happy New Year, everybody. Good night from all of us at Real Deal Media, and we'll see you in the new year. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Sorry.
Very nice.
Thank you.